If you're watching this video, what you don't know is that I'm trying to record locally and I'm on a Discord live stream, but you can't hear all the people making fun of me as I go, but I can. So I will relay that to you all. And then, yeah, Danny and company, if there's any questions as we go, please let me know and I'll say those out loud for the recording. We'll see if this works. We hit a really important milestone with Redwood, a really exciting milestone. And I said here, this is quite the statement. 18 months, 85 releases, and this is like more than on these things because this was just one repo. 4,710 commits by 261 contributors. Redwood's reached the V1 release candidate. That's a really big deal. We're really excited and really grateful. This project has actually been around even longer than 18 months, probably closer to 36 months actually, so 3 years. But publicly, it was available and was announced in March of 2020. So really exciting. So what it means with this release that came out is that the V1 features are complete. We've got the core features in. There will be some new things added during this release cycle before the GA V1, but for the most part, the core features are there. So our vision is complete. There's no more breaking changes that we know of or that we hope for. There might be some bug fixes that require something, but we don't have any more planned breaking changes. We're not going to be upgrading any major libraries or packages that would have downstream breaking changes implications on your app or project. We promise not to do that until V2, and then we're going to break all kinds of stuff. But for V1, no more breaking changes. And Redwood is near production ready. I mean, you can't just say it's production ready and it's a v1.0.0-rc, right? Like that would be breaking rules. But we happen to have or know of a lot of Redwood projects and startups that are in production using even pre-V1.0.0-rc. So I would say now's a great time if you're thinking about using Redwood for production to check it out. It's really stable. And all the core libraries beneath Redwood are all in stable versions right now. The other thing I wanted to make sure everyone knew about is this next week, there is a meetup coming and it's going to be exciting. We're going to talk all about v1.0.0-rc and we're going to talk about the people behind the project. We'll look at some new features. We're going to have demos from a lot of startups and projects. It's going to be really fun. A lot of ways to get involved. Please come register to this. Also, if you register and can't make it, you'll start getting notifications when we do public meetups. We'll keep you in the loop that way. So make sure that you stick around for that. I will get more into what the highlights are for this release in particular, but if you have wondered or if someone asks you like what is Redwood, what makes it different, this is my first attempt to summarize what Redwood is and what it's about for the first time. The README is always a great place to answer those questions. This was the original vision of Redwood. It's in the repo. It's been updated a lot. It's fun to actually see the commit history of this document on how this README has grown. But really, like, why does Redwood exist and what makes it unique as a framework? Trying to answer that question in this section, which is Redwood was designed specifically thinking of how do you help an individual that then becomes a team, that then becomes a growing startup, maintain a code base over time and be performant every step of the way. How do you go from a proof of concept and a prototype to a team of 5 to 10 to 20 to 50? Those are the problems we're trying to solve. And those problems extend beyond your code base. They extend into CI/CD, they extend into maintainability, they extend into team processes. So we are building for that kind of use case. And that's why Redwood is a different kind of framework. And we're learning how to communicate that better, but we're really excited to say, hey, here's the whole vision wrapped up in the v1.0.0-rc. And we think you're going to like it because we built it for you, product developers, for you, co-founders and founders, or future co-founders and founders. And that's really who we have in mind when we build Redwood. So I really think this is true. We've extended the boundaries of what a framework, an out-of-the-box framework can do for you with Redwood. But if you really just want to see what the features are, check out this section. And this is everything that we've done to date. In summary, and If you want the full list, the README is a great place to get the full list. If you really want to know everything, then go read the Redwood Docs, because all these docs relate to some feature, some capability that's built into Redwood out of the box. So check that out if you want to know everything that Redwood can do. But that's not going to explain to you why Redwood is unique on the UI side with cells and declarative data fetching and state inside one component, which gives you this the island of interactivity architecture for UI that is being talked about, especially with I think it's Vite, but also AstroBuild. They were really pushing that forward. You can do that with Redwood. Toby just had a phenomenal, I'm bouncing all over the place now, but a tweet on the Twitters. This is a fantastic example by Toby, who's on the core team, of a Redwood application where he's showing how you pre-render a page, and then he does some magic to actually pre-render the loading states. So static content, he fetches all the dynamic content to load statically at the start, very similar to Nex's ISSG. And if you check this out, it's a great example of the way that Redwood's UI is architected by fetching data with inside of components and how each of those components have a state. I think that was kind of clear. By the way, highlighting tape.sh. Danny is on the stream as well. He is the founder, author, creator of tape.sh, and it is a Redwood app, multi-client Redwood app, and he's going to be talking a lot about it at the Redwood.js meetup next week. So come check that out. So this was a screen recording done with tape. Back to the release notes. I had a plan, but I can't say that the plan of how I talk about this stuff was linear. All right. Those are all the things about Redwood, and here are the highlights. Now let's talk specifically about v1.rc. Side note, v1.rc is equivalent to v39. Because we're in this strange state of going from 0 dot releases to a version 1 stable release, you're going to see, we'll keep upgrading and publishing at 0.40, 0.41, and then we'll bundle all those things up into another v1rc.3.4. You could stay on either path. If you want to make sure you're on the latest, then just stick with the Simver 0.40, 41, etc., and the patch releases there. Or you could just upgrade to the RC, and we'll tell you what the equivalent 0 dot release is for that. So that's why you'll see two things happening at the same time. Release highlights and changelog. Danny earlier demoed how to use Chakra UI. This is really fun. It's a component and style library that in one command you can get running with Redwood, and then it works out of the box with Storybook in Redwood as well. So the Chakra UI integration is really exciting. Yarn Redwood setup UI Chakra UI. Fastify for the Node.js server. Redwood doesn't just deploy to serverless. Redwood has a long running server. No surprise, the command is yarn Redwood serve. And that used to be an Express server, and now it's running on Fastify, which is an immediate performance boost. There's nothing you need to do to get this performance boost and use Fastify, except for redeploy your app on the latest version, either 39 or the v1.rc, and you'll be using Fastify. You can read about Fastify in its docs here, and it's a big performance boost. Something a lot of people are excited about is this experimental new feature, Redwood Record. If you are a Rails aficionado, you'll know about Active Record. Rob Cameron, who's been a Rails developer for a while and is a part of the core team with Redwood.js, has built this package, Redwood Record. So it is replicating the Active Record process and methodology for Redwood. You could think of it as kind of living on top of, in this case, Prisma ORM, and uses classes. And here's the documentation for it. So this is early. It's not ready for production yet, but it is ready for you to try and see how far you can get and then provide us feedback. And again, if you are looking for this kind of Rails feature inside of Redwood, then please help get this feature to completion by trying it out and giving Rob feedback and even contributing to it. So those are the major highlights. There's some other good ones. Let me actually go to the release notes. to talk about as well. Let me boost this size a little bit. We had Chakra. Oh, this was a good one, Danny. We haven't talked about. Danny can hear me, but you can't hear him. Environment variable interpolation in Redwood.toml. This has been missing for a long time, but finally, you can actually use invars in your Redwood toml. And why didn't we think of that before? Thank you, Danny. That's a really important feature that we've been missing. Where let's go. Create Tailwind version. Oh, your scaffolding can now use Tailwind CSS. There's a way to upgrade to that if you'd like. We covered that. Storybook, you can add a custom manager.js file, which means you could style your Storybook app when it spins up. Overriding is empty. That should advance work on cells. And the Redwood record package. Okay, a whole lot of other things. But those are the major things that just came in this release. And it's an amazing release. So the last thing I'll say is I think these numbers are just phenomenal. And this has been average for our releases. We have a release about every 3 to 4 weeks. We're always seeing more than 20 unique contributors, often in the 30s. And 74 PRs merged is just about our average. Every release is just a mountain of code that's coming in, just thanks to the amazing community of Redwood contributors. Like I said, over 250 people have contributed to date in this project. And it is so much fun to get to make this project amazing in collaboration with so many amazing people. So we are really proud of where we've come. We're really grateful for all the people that have been with us on this journey and couldn't be more excited about what it means for Redwood to get to the GA of V1, so the stable release. And we already have a roadmap for at least 3 major versions beyond that. So there's some really exciting things ahead. And with that, I'll stop